Welcome everybody to the episode, the first episode of the latest story of Coriolis. We've got the usual crowd here. Co-host Dave down here. Do you want to tell me who you are and what your character's doing?
Who am I? That's a difficult question, isn't it?
Every time I do a podcast with you, Dave, I have to remember who you are again.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a complicated human being. Anyway, but in this game, I am playing Ocean Ispartha. Ocean is always discovering that actually there's more to his Alarm's Temple past than he'd thought. He had been an erstwhile investigator with his friend and partner Yakub Nassar on Coriolis, but that has led to a series of adventures and the emergence of his Alarm's Temple conditioning. Think River from Serenity or Firefly.
Yeah, but not as dainty or frankly as good looking, Dave.
Ooh.
Well, each to their own. I accept I'm not as dainty, that's for sure. There's some people who might think I'm more good looking than Summer Glau. You never know. People who don't find women attractive, for starters, perhaps.
Right, okay. So, Mohammed,
even they might, frankly.
Let's not steer you towards this question. Family show, Dave. Family show. Mohammed, who are you?
Yeah, I'm Zaki Barakat. I'm a Dada Jinn, former member of the Order of the Cold Flames, and hopefully the recent recruit of the Ocean and Yakub Nassar on the Nijara. Hopefully that have been accepted as one of the newest crew members after the handshake that we did last session.
Jolly good. At gunpoint, that handshake, wasn't it? Or had guns been holstered before the handshake?
No, I'd holstered my gun. My hand was on the hilt of my my ceremonial blades, mine, just in case. But I'm learning to trust. That's all part of that's all part of explaining me. Like you asked me to
learning very slowly to trust. I think
you had me at trust.
I think Zaki has reasons to not like me very much. So you know.
Yes, a short flight out of a reasonably high cargo bay. Tony,
I survived.
It all turned out well again, didn't it?
Fine, wasn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Got him a new job with the cold flame.
Exactly.
So, Tony, who are you, and what's your character doing? And also, given that one of the things that you, Tony, the player, is apparently the unofficial historian of this show.
Apparently so.
Dave's gone off in the salt now.
No, I was just doing something I didn't want to have on camera.
Not table flipping.
So, can you wait till later?
Tony, I mean, come on.
Come on, Tony. It's only taking him 20 seconds. As usual.
It's a family show, Matthew. It's a family show.
Anyway,
whatever it was, it's only taking you 20 seconds.
Moving swiftly on.
Please.
I'm Yakub Nassar. So again, I was former private detective, partner of Ocean, already fairly kind of grizzled and world weary. I've only kind of become more disillusioned, I think, with life. I'd sworn to look after the daughter of somebody else I used to work with who died. His daughter Noor, who was on Coriolis, who was a mystic and was taken and eventually killed as we were looking for the emissary. And I feel like I'd let my friend down then in not protecting Noor. And so I've kind of become even more disillusioned with my own life, and the only thing I'm really concerned about now is not letting down my current partner best friend Ossian Isparta.
Excellent. And what happened last week?
Last week, we bravely rescued Judge Kurahan from Coriolis. She was being moved around between safe houses. We managed to find the safe house in the Tattoo Parlor where she was being hidden. Unfortunately, a bunch of Azkaban agents also found her at the same time. So we had a bit of a fight. Ghazi got a bit shot. We shot a few of the Azkaban agents, and then some judicators turned up. And eventually we managed to get out. Ossian and Zaki brought the ship and docked it next to the Tattoo Parlor where we were, and we managed to get on the ship and get away, as far as I remember. Ossian then had a little bit of a confrontation with Zaki because he knew that Zaki's orders from the Cold Flame were to take the judge to I can't remember where it was actually. Was it I can't remember, but somewhere different from where we were going to take it. So
also to make sure that the judge was dead if she wasn't falling into the hands
if
of
she was falling in
the
hands of
Cold
what they
Flame.
considered to be enemies.
Yeah.
And of course, we're not taking there. We're going to take the judge to that room, which is where Isabelita, or the alarm sample through Isabelita, said they would like us to take her. But Zaki basically said he wasn't that fussed about being in the Cold Flame. He was kind of working for them under duress, and suggested that we could maybe spread the word that he was sadly killed in the attempts to rescue the judge and start a new life with a new name, presumably, as one of our crew. So I think that was resolved without anyone getting shot, which was nice.
Yeah.
We then did, as we were leaving, we managed to get away. We were leaving, heading away from Coriolis. We did pick up some news bulletins where it suggested that a new military junta had taken over in Coriolis, and things were looking quite bad. There was the Alarm's Temple representative on Coriolis had a warrant for their arrest put out, as well as Mandragore, who was a Draconite on Coriolis. And I think that was who actually the judge wanted us to go and hole up with in the Spire. Because she seemed to think that would be a safe place, but we disagreed. But they also have had a warrant for their arrest, and so things are going quite bad on Coriolis.
So I just want to remind you of your various missions before we move on to the next scene, as it were. I feel there's been a little bit in what Dave said about what Zaki's orders were, that there's a little bit of exaggeration there. So let's start with you, Zaki. Your orders from the Cold Flame were to rescue the defector by any means necessary. The wishes of the martyr supersede any cost in blood. Turn over the target to the martyr warriors at the AWAS portal station and kill the target if it risks falling into enemy hands. Not necessarily kill the target if you don't bring it here, but I guess the question is, what is the relationship of your newfound allies?
The Cold Flame you consider enemy hands.
Yeah.
Like I say, the Cold Flame and Alarm's Temple, of course, know what their attitude towards each other is.
The Cold Flames also been banned by the new decree.
Yeah, they are now a terrorist organization. Well, not the Cold Flame; they're a secret wing. But the Order of the Pariah generally have been regarded as a terrorist organization, including the Samaritans, who are very much the public face of the Order of the Pariah. On
the fluffy, friendly face of the Order of the Pariah.
Yeah,
the cuddly ones.
Not cuddly as much as healing, mercies, missionaries, shall we say? Your instructions. Your sister said that a faction within the Alarm's Temple had allied with a faction within the Draconites. And you were to smuggle the defector off the station without anybody finding out and bring the target to Dashroom auction house for safekeeping. The target can provide valuable political insight and may need more help from you, were your precise instructions. So just after that little recap, we should also say that you mentioned Ghazi was injured. I think we can assume that he's recovering because his player Neil couldn't be with us this evening, and hopefully we'll return next week. But I know other things are happening, so we'll have a bit of a chat with him about that. But anyway, for the moment, he's in his cabin, slowly recovering from his gut shot. Somebody who isn't in their cabin is your quarry, Judge Kurahan, and I believe she said on you were aware of her presence as you heard the news report. And she said this is bad news for the horizon. And that's where we left the action last time. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Just out of interest, I'm assuming the judge isn't armed.
That might be an assumption to make. I'm not going to tell you whether she is or not.
But she's not obviously
because
armed.
I don't know. She's not pointing a gun at you. No. That's what you mean.
Well, that's a good,
the
that's
judge
a good
is
start.
not pointing a gun at her rescuers yet. Just trying to find her stats and equipment. There we go. No, your assumption that she wasn't armed appears to be confirmed from a visual scan.
Good.
Well, I'm thinking that we head for Dakroom then.
Yes.
I'm thinking we are heading for Dakroom.
I'd like to ask you to turn back, she says.
Turn back where?
My son is... I'm not entirely sure where my son is, but possibly on the station, Coriolis, possibly in the conglomerate, but I can't go to Dakroom without him. You may remember, Dave and Tony, you may remember having met her son. You had captured the Judicar ages ago. The first adventure here, what's her name? She'd tried to assassinate you. You'd captured her. The Zenithians were coming to arrest her. You didn't want her to fall into Zenithian hands. And you called the judge, and the judge sent her son to pick the adjudicator up.
This is in the swamps on Kua, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Is that the one? Was this?
Or was this on Coriolis?
This was on Kua, yeah.
Yeah.
When you were staying in your luxury apartment, having just been welcomed into the hands of the Zenithian Hegemony.
Yeah.
That's the person that she's talking about, you assume.
I'm not convinced that we should be going back anywhere near Coriolis right now.
That sounds like a very bad idea. It's very hard to get in. We had quite a lot of resistance trying to stop us getting out again. If we go back there, all that's like to happen is that we get ourselves killed.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think we're doing
that. The judge captured by those people who were by the Astaban.
Yeah.
Seems like a very, very bad idea to me. I'm asking the judge, where is your son now, do you think?
I don't precisely know. I believe him to be on Coriolis station, but when I was, I contacted him and tried to convince him to join me and leave the station. He said he had an important task. I should explain. You understand, he's... after the Mystericides, the mystics were shunned by society and isolated themselves. Well, Arlane, my son, is one of the infected. He has the mystic's disease. And we've tried to keep it a secret and followed the hunt for a cure. But a couple of segments ago, his condition became known after he was arrested by a judicator. And the impure taint outraged my relatives. And that's really... I had to disown him for the honor of the family. And so he went off and joined the Children of the Song. And these are, I don't know if you've heard of this, they're made up of mystics claiming to hear the whispers of the messenger emissary that you know as well as I do, because you told me is dead. Special branch keep their eyes on the group, and the adjudicators have opened a terrorism investigation. Wow, I feel now everybody's a terrorist who doesn't follow the hegemonic rule. But either way, he has joined the cult, the Children of the Song, and I fear he's becoming radicalized. I need to get him away from them. I need to get him away from the adjudicators. I need to get him away from a special branch, from these thugs they've now put in policing the station. I can't remember what they're called. What did they say? But they're Berbicils, they're criminals, they're effectively the syndicate, given smart uniforms and put in charge of the people. My son isn't safe. She looks to you, Yakub, and says, we have to save him. We can't leave him to be murdered or worse by all these people out to take advantage of him. You told me, if you remember, in the restaurant at the Spire, the very top of the world, Alkemar's restaurant, you told me how you were looking for your friend's daughter. You told me how you couldn't save her. You can save Arlan.
Can we though? That's the question. I think if we go back to Coriolis now, it's suicide. Have you seen Coriolis? You heard about what's happening there?
Well, I heard as well as you did. We ran away under gunfire. I'm not stupid. I'm a judge. But for that reason, I urge you, please. The whole horizon is in trouble. It's not just Coriolis. I know, I have intelligence about plans that the Zenithians have been making for ages, about the destruction of the Order of the Pariah, about the victory over the nomads. All the pieces are in place. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called this coup on the station. Things are going to start happening very quickly now.
So this makes you even more important and are risking your life by taking you back to Coriolis on some fool's attempt to rescue your son, who, sad as it may be, I'm sure he isn't the key to the survival of the horizon. In which case, we would be placing the horizon at danger by not getting your intelligence to the people who need to hear it.
She turns to you, Zaki.
Yeah.
You won't be swayed?
I'm just working here. He's the boss. I don't know how to pilot this thing, even if I wanted to help you. But maybe I can contact your son. Maybe I can pinpoint him and locate him if you want.
Is there more to this, Judge, than just a mother's love for a son that you say yourself you disowned for the honor of your family?
I had to disown him. I love him deeply. Politics wasn't right. I'm a Zenithian. I'm a neo-Zenithian, admittedly, within the politics.
You are a renegade terrorist now, as far as the Third Horizon authorities are concerned.
Yes, and so is my son.
But what value
more vulnerable.
does us risking our lives and risking the information that you have that is vital potentially to the future of the Third Horizon on a fool's escapade trying to save one individual. As sad as it may be for that one individual and for you.
And one individual that we don't even know where they are. So the chances of finding him and successfully rescuing him are very small.
And we've just
crewman
escaped
here said he could find out.
I can try to find out.
But Zaki's just crew. You know, he doesn't make any decisions around here, does he?
Okay. First appraisal of the day.
Zaki, that's a promotion, mate, from where you were yesterday.
Oh, definitely.
What possible reason can you give us for risking everything to go back for this one person?
How many AU does your vessel travel? So how long does it take to travel in AU?
That's speed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, no. So its speed is 1, so it does 1 AU per day. I think that is
right. Okay.
So actually, the last time I remember how long did it take us to rescue the judge from Coriolis? From the point where he said
half an hour.
It was less than a day, wasn't it?
It was less than a day.
Because somewhere I remember last time somebody saying if I did it in less than a day, I would have my entire ship's cost paid off.
Yes, that was a promise made with the full expectation your ship was going to explode. But I will honour it because that was the deal.
Hey, that's not my fault that you fucked it up, mate. So
I didn't fuck it up. You guys.
I did a good job. He didn't fuck it up. I did a good job.
Listen to your crewman. Yes. I guess one of your urgent things is you need to get a communication, because to get to Dahum, which I believe is in the Rimwood Reach.
It is.
That's 47 days travel.
From Kua.
From the centre, actually no, from Kua it's 42 days travel. Let's just assume that for that moment the two locations are lined up in orbit and it isn't on the other side of the sun, in which case it would be 52 days travel.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's right. It is divided by 1. So, yeah, it's going to take us 40 days to get there. But the ship can just keep going and going and going. It's good old Menkari design. It doesn't go very fast. It just doesn't.
Talking
stop.
about its reliability now, there are bits actually falling off your ship.
It's
Your
just the
service
medbay and the
pod's
salvage
destroyed.
station. Salvage station and not the salvage station. Yeah, the service station and the medbay are broken.
Yeah, and doesn't Zaki know it? Not Zaki. Doesn't Ghazi know it?
Ghazi. Yeah. Well, I could probably repair it though, actually, because you can repair them in combat. I can at least get it up and running again.
Yeah, that's fair.
So hang on. Coming back to my question. So the offer of getting my ship paid off was made to me by whom?
By your sister.
Right.
But if we need to deliver the judge or get the judge.
Well, I think given it's going to take 42 days
40
to
days,
deliver the judge, and they said get it done within 24 hours, I think the getting her off the station, and indeed the time, you used it well.
There was nothing in the original discussion last time around, Matt, about we had to get them to Jack Troom in 24 hours because that was impossible. It was about getting off the station in 24 hours.
No, I didn't say. That's what I just said. So obviously it was getting them off the station, is what I said, given that it's going to take 40 days to get to Jakku.
I thought you were using that as your excuse that I couldn't get it done in 24 hours.
Well, if I was going to do that, that would be in character. Well, I just thought you'd have found the faster ship.
Oh, it's an Alarms Temple ship, for God's sake, so make it fast in
Yeah.
the future. Anyway. Well, okay. It doesn't hurt for Zaki to quietly do a bit of digging and see if he can turn up some information on where this guy might be. But
Okay,
I've got no inclination to go and risk our lives rescuing him for no good reason.
I just want to show you this picture, which I fail to have used because that was meant to be your ship blowing up.
I demand the raise.
Well done, Zaki. That's a good team. A good technology team going there.
Right. Let me just work out how you can work out where he is and how hard it is.
I think if he's on Coriolis, then this is a no-go. Because we were lucky enough to get in and out once, let alone try and do it again.
Do our characters know that Cade is with Children of the Song right now?
I think he's talked about the Children of the Song before, and you witnessed him having a conversation.
Yeah, we were not.
So I think he was. That could be a safe assumption to make that he's with the Children of the Song. You have also, of course, Oshan and Yakub had an agreement with the leaders of the Children of the Song when they took you through that that seance. Although one of them was killed by somebody in your party.
Formally. Oh.
So good.
But another member of your party who was a shyster and a fraud realised the Children of the Song were... That song was a song that he could hear.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't Soka, was it? It was Will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll blame Soka anyway. I don't remember. What agreement did we have with them?
They wanted you to be their eyes and ears around the place. I'm sure they were offering you something. I'm just wondering whether you can remember what they said about communicating with you.
Nope.
Not especially. That was quite some time ago, wasn't it?
Okay. Then I think, given that time has passed in real life as well as in life, that may be a conversation that you forgot.
Well, ultimately, if we can't even find out where he is, then that's yet another reason not to go and try and rescue him.
Let me just see what I can do about finding out where he or Yaki, what Zaki can do about finding out where he is.
Whilst Zaki's doing that, I think I'm going to talk to the judge and say, look, the only possible way that we might agree to do this is if you effectively debrief every bit of intelligence you've got that you think is relevant, and I can send it on an encrypted channel ahead to where we are going. Then we might possibly consider mounting some rescue attempt if there is a reasonable chance we might succeed, if we can find him, and if we're satisfied with what you're telling us.
That would only work, really, if we had a briefing from Isabelita about the kind of information they're looking for. Guess we would need to know what questions to ask.
That's true.
Can you open a comm with Isabelita, your sister, to talk with the judge? or it's far away. We cannot open an open cone.
It's 40 AU away, isn't it? So it's going to take 40 times 8 minutes to get there.
Uh-huh.
And 40
But
times
then
8 minutes to get back.
Okay.
That's not impossible to have a
No,
conversation.
that's a day, isn't it? Actually, isn't it? It's like sending email almost.
Yeah. So it's not it's not a face-to-face conversation, but it could be done.
Okay, I will send an encrypted message to Isabelita explaining the current situation. That we successfully got her out within the 24-hour deadline, and are trying to keep her safe at the moment.
40 times 8 is actually 320 minutes. So that's what 280 is
6 hours.
6 hours.
4.
Yeah.
5 hours. 5 hours.
5 hours. Yeah. So what are you saying in that message?
Just saying that the task was successful within the allotted time. We will heading in your direction. Will be sometime before we arrive. I'm looking forward to owning my ship and spending some money on upgrading its engines and buying some guns and or at least defensive things anyway, if not actual weapons.
Okay. Do you want to Zaki try and find Arlan's location?
Can you help him, Tone?
Yeah. I can.
Only one success.
One success is, I think, probably good enough.
To get us back in the scenario, says Matt.
No. One success is good enough to get you back in the scenario. I can spend a bloody darkness point to get you back in the scenario if I wanted. So I think one success is good enough for you to work out that he does not appear to. You do some checking on passenger manifests and things like that, and you don't know exactly where he is, but you think he's on the surface of Kua, not on Coriolis.
I relay the information.
Does that mean he's stuck in the middle of the monolith somewhere? Matthew.
Sorry? Oh, I thought that was just... say that question again. Say that question again.
Do we have any sense of where on the surface he is?
No, I
There's a
expressly
planet,
said
so
you have
quite a
no
bit.
idea where he is, but you don't think he's on Coriolis.
Right.
For one success.
Okay. So we can't search the entire planet of Kua. So let's go to Jack Room. What do you think? We've got no leads even. We've got nowhere to start. We can only rescue the guy if we've got the faintest idea where he is. Not that we want to do it anyway, but with the lead being he's on a planet, doesn't really narrow it down for us very much.
That much, no.
Okay, if that's your choice.
Well, if we had some other kind of lead, then we might have something to go on. But
Well, you may have some other kind of leads. I think Tony's mentioned one.
Have I not consciously?
Or one of you? Somebody mentioned Kaid.
Okay.
Kaid?
Yeah, me.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
ma-
that
sorry.
was Zaki. Yeah,
I went Zaki's
yeah
mentioned one.
Mohammed.
yeah. How we can communicate with him?
I'm still totally unconvinced why we should be doing this. I'm saying to the judge, apart from him being your son and you feeling a bit guilty about it, what possible incentive can we have, can you give us to risk our lives and yours in trying to do this?
And yours, with all the extremely important information that you know,
It seems
that
like
may be
the most,
vital in protecting the horizon.
it seems
What
like the
do you
most
love?
foolhardy
Would you-
thing. So you'd
I
sacrifice
urge
the
you.
third horizon for your son, would you?
I don't think we'd sacrifice the third horizon. It's going to take us 40 days, as you've said, to get to Dashroom. Probably by the time we're there, the horizon will be in Zenithians' hands.
Well, that's why
So-
you can start relaying information to the people that we are
I'm very
going
happy to
visit.
do so, but the world will be, the horizon will be a very different place in 40 days.
Yeah, well, that's why if you need to be relaying information over this link, and I'll set it up for it with all the relevant alarms, temple encryptions, and they will ask you questions, I suspect, and you will need to answer them.
Zaki
And I
will have
want-
to do the encryption because, of course, you don't unless.
Well,
you want to
presumably
make
there's an alarms temple.
Have you
Yeah,
been?
crypt.
Do you have what's it called? Faction standing?
Well, presumably
Is that what-
Isabelita doesn't want me to be sending stuff over the open communications. Like, duh. Surely.
Well, she might do, but she hasn't necessarily given you the encryption that you need to relay this information back.
For
she
months,
sends you-
I've been talking about doing this stuff, and this is the first time you raised a problem with it.
No. I have been telling you that you and she are using a code that you and she had as children in letters. You've not been sending her any encrypted stuff unless I've suggested it.
So every time I've said to you, I'm sending her an encrypted message, I haven't been sending her an encrypted message because I've said that many times over the last.
Well,
I don't
okay.
know,
No, what I'm
6 months of
saying
this
is
game.
you have sent her a coded message. You're talking about all the encryptions, but these are text messages that you've sent her that talk about holidays and stuff like that, which is a code that you and she has been able to read. If you want it properly encrypted,
Right. Okay.
then either one of your crewmates can do that sort of stuff. But you can do it. You can do it. I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying that somebody's going to have to make a roll.
Okay. Saki, could you do
I'm
the
sure we can do
honors
it, yeah.
with help from your cube?
Yeah.
Set up an encrypted channel.
Only one success also.
You might want to push that one.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's good enough. It's encrypted. I mean, you're probably tight beaming it away there. I'm not going to try and break that encryption.
Okay, cool. I also want to be able to see what's being sent and what's being returned as well.
Right. So you're sitting in the room with her.
Or just, the link that Zaki's set up has got a way that we can access it. As an admin, I'm sure that's no problem.
A backdoor on encryption. Yeah. Famously secure, eh, Zaki?
Route 1 to 3.
She doesn't mind sharing what she's got with you.
So let's start that conversation.
Okay.
And then if we... So I'm finding it really hard for Ocean to, even if we knew where this guy was, to actually want
Now
to
I'm
go and rescue
understanding
him.
why they blew your ship up in the scenario. Okay.
Because it doesn't feel like the kind of thing I would want to do under these circumstances when I need to get this person to Jakroon.
So I've got on my body, she says, a tag implanted with all the evidence that you need. This is what she's saying to in her message to Isabelita for what I'm about to tell you. But in short form, the Zenithian Hegemony and the Consortium have drawn up secret deals detailing their joint rule of Coriolis, Kua, and the Third Horizon. They've also reached out to several of the important Zenithian families in the syndicate to discuss a partnership. The plans obviously included the coup that we have already witnessed. The Consortium and the Zenithians have used the Consortium's contracts with the Daharab shipyards in Sadal and the influence of a local lobbyist group led by Anna Din Yusidia to secretly begin construction of a co-owned Zenithian fleet called the Nadir Flotilla. The flotilla's finished ships are hidden at one of the Foundation stations halfway between Sadal A and Sadal B. In the quadrant of the pillar, the former director of the colonial agency's Uharu refineries, Sober Herman, has made the faction interested in further expansion into the quadrant of the pillar. After the disappearance of the Janhagir fleet, plans have been drawn up to have the Legion occupy several portal stations and the richer planets in the systems of the quadrant. Subtle attempts to destabilize the Order of the Pariah have been made in the last year, but the Hegemony and the Consortium are now preparing to have the Legion attack Zalus from Mirror, while the Nadir Flotilla strikes against the Order blockade in Awaz. Nigelia fears that the planned actions in the quadrant of the pillar and an attack on the Order could lead to all-out war in the Third Horizon. The bulletin's news probes are now being scanned by Special Branch, and all ships leaving Coriolis are searched from top to bottom. And again, she makes a plea that she should rescue her son, Arlan. Have you told her that he's on the planet, not on Coriolis?
I'm not sure we have yet, have we? We could say that. We could just say that we don't think he's on Coriolis anymore, but actually where he is, we can't really narrow it down. Narrow it down.
Okay.
He might. We could tell her that we think he's on Kua.
In a way of reassuring her.
But we have no idea where on Kua he might be.
Okay, let me begin the countdown. Give me a moment.
The countdown.
The countdown to the bomb on the ship.
Okay. Right, so that takes 5 hours, doesn't it, to send that message, and 5 hours back.
Do we want to speak to Cade just to see if he knows anything?
We can see if we can get in touch with them, I guess, assuming we've left a means of doing so between us when he went.
Give me a moment. You're moving things a bit further ahead than I'd intended, but I'm having to quickly.
Are we moving on to bits of the scenario you haven't read yet?
Yeah, well, I have read some time ago, not the stuff that I reread in preparation for what might happen today.
Bloody players. Another game as usual.
Give me a moment. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to? You still have that comms set up with Cade. The last thing he communicated with you was that he was clearing out when the Justicars were about to raid the place.
With the other
But in
pilgrims.
theory, you can still use that because Saki got quite a lot of successes on that. Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, might as well, shall we?
Okay. Well, obviously,
See if we can
Paul
make
can't
contact.
be here, so I'm going to tell you what he thinks, what he says.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Can you hear the song? It's so loud here." Obviously, you can't hear the song, although there may be a weird bit of interference on the comms that could be vaguely musical, but you're not hearing what he's hearing, obviously.
Okay. No. What does that mean? What's happening?
We're going to the monolith.
Okay, good.
It's an enormous resonance chamber. We're going to sing the song in the monolith.
This is the song that you heard on Coriolis. The machine icon song.
But changed so much more. It's a call to action. Everybody's here.
Who's everybody? Can you give us the name?
All the children of the song.
Are you still on Coriolis, Cade?
Hint, hint. So,
we're on Kua.
You managed to get off Coriolis then?
Oh, yes.
With the pilgrims. And so we're thinking that not talking to Cade here, so are we now thinking that Arlene is down there as one of the singers?
I guess, is there a reason not to just ask Cade if he knows him?
I guess so. We have got a good comms link, haven't we?
Yeah.
Encrypted.
Yeah, so we'll ask him, is Arlene Kurahan, is that their name? Is that how surnames work? With you? Going to the Are they going to the monolith with you?
Who? Arlane. Yes, it was Arlane who brought us here. He had access to his mother's ship. She had a ship waiting for her at a spaceport, but his mother seemed to have found some other form of escape route, so he brought us all down here.
Well, sounds like you're all safe and fine then, so we don't need to worry about you.
Well, there seems to be a bit of a battle going ahead, but Arlane is preparing to try to enter the monolith. He knows the way around the fight, he says.
Does he show any desire to leave?
What, leave the monolith while the song's on? No. He's you can talk to him if you like. Here, Arlane, come over here. Talk to my friends.
Should we let the judge talk to him?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll call the judge up saying, Judge, we may have found your son.
We got a
Quick.
He's
He's on the phone now.
Yeah, exactly.
So she takes the call and says, Arlane, where are you? And you can hear over the speakers Arlane's voice saying, Mother, it's wonderful. We're attacking the monolith. The children of the song, we know exactly where to go.
What are you trying to achieve by going to the monolith? What's the ultimate objective?
We're going to bring down the Zenithians.
How?
Yeah, because, good objective and everything, but
Yeah. Just
there seems to be some potential gaps in the
in the
delivery
plan.
of the objective.
The song will guide us. I don't know how exactly, but we shall have victory over those terrible people, Mother.
How is the judge reacting to this information?
She's kind of curious. She looks at you and mouths a word.
Let's go.
Yeah, fuck him.
No.
Sorry, family show.
Family show. It is past the watershed, though, so that's all right.
She says she's mouthing that he's. I'm just trying to think exactly.
Expendable?
Not expendable. No. Tears rolling down her cheeks. He's going to die, he says. The monolith is well guided.
He's with a lot of other good children of the song, men and women. I'm sure together they will prevail. As I'm tapping in the coordinates for Jakroom.
You did that some time ago, didn't you?
Yeah, true.
Oh, Mother, he's still on the line. He says, we're falling. Some of us aren't strong enough. It looks like radiation, but your voice is carrying me through, she says. He says. And then feels like an earthquake. Now, you begin to hear over the comms that interference is slowly
getting worse,
coalescing and becoming more understandable. And none of you got mystic powers, have you?
No.
no.
Okay, but Tony, you've heard this song a couple of times, or you heard a song like this a couple of times before, so you hear it a little bit clearer than the others. And it seems to be the word says, from the fields of Argonas to the jungles of Kua, the world is infinitely vast and yet strangely small. You are our children as we were to those who came before, icons wandering the stars. We are heralds and protectors, guardians that banish the darkness of ardor. The glass that keeps the butterfly out. We are hope and peace and life beyond. And you can hear over the comm that as you're hearing this in the static, Arlan is singing it. You can hear maybe Cade's voice as well in the background, all joining up. We are heralds and protectors, the guardians that banish the darkness of ardor, the glass that keeps the butterfly out. We are hope and peace and life beyond. Today we reclaim what has been. Today we stop the clock and take a stand. Today we cull the growing dark. With light through fire, we bring about a new horizon.
So, are you guys hearing this?
I guess so. Are we hearing this?
Yes, yeah. So particularly
Yeah.
the bit I shouted at the end was, you hear a number of voices in unison over the comm saying all of that. And
is it like millions of voices all crying out at once and then suddenly
silenced?
Thousands, but not silenced. No, they are not silenced. And there's a bit of a delay in all of this. So of course, remember, you're half an AU away or something like that. So there's already kind of a 4-minute delay going on in your comms or something like that, back and forth. And what's that noise?
I don't know.
Is that something happening outside your house, Dave, or on
I think
your
it's
system?
outside Mohammed's house, I think.
It's gone quiet now, Mohammed, whatever it was.
I don't know if you bumped your microphone or something.
Yeah, maybe I bumped my microphone, yeah.
Okay.
But it kind of sounded more external than that. But anyway, it's kind of fitting because, you had your newsfeed running on one of the screens. You're now getting images of what's happening on the monolith. And I'm just going to read the box text here because I'm trying to paraphrase it while reading it, but I'm just going to read it. The artifact's protective shell of coral metal breaks apart and is pulverized in a rain of dust and falling rocks.
Is this the monolith you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mists sink to reveal the dark core. A sword measuring 4 kilometers in height and 300 meters in width, made from perfectly cut hexagonal metal columns, fused together and gleaming in the sunlight. The conglomerate is covered in glittering mineral dust and the rivers in the delta turn black. And I just want you to take a moment to remember your aunt that lives in the conglomerate, Yakub.
That lived.
Well, yeah, this is like some sort of weird volcanic eruption, raining down rocks and dust and mud, possibly raining down the monolith onto the conglomerate where your manor lived. As the shell falls, Sky City and the capital of the hegemony fall with it. And I want you to remember all the people you met, the servants that served you while you were living in the life of luxury under the Zenithians. Rippling outward from the fall of Zenithian leadership, there are earthquakes opening up the earth and new plateaus rising along the equator. Deep wounds in the ground lead the rivers to form new lakes. But cataracts, enormous dams that protect the districts of the city from flooding, stand firm. Perhaps they are gifts from earlier generations who experienced the power of the monolith for themselves. Across the conglomerate lowlands, valleys are flooded and underwater caves drained, exposing ancient ruins and hidden treasures. The monolith's discharge travels upward through the atmosphere and strikes Coriolis station high above the city with a lance thrust of fire. The ring is torn from its spokes and crashes into the tip of the spire. Waters and forests of Lake Arbor freeze in the vacuum. Lake Arbor was the place where, the high level sort of landscape place that you went to visit the emissary's house place when you're investigating a disappearance. The fleets of the Legion and the Hegemony burn and disappear in bright flashes of light like a swarm of fireflies. The station hangs in silence for a second, and not all hope seems lost. Then the lights go out, section by section, and the enormous grav projectors in the cellar give up, and the station, now spinning, starts falling into the atmosphere. The judge says, Mandragore.
Yeah, I'm actually quite glad we didn't go back to Coriolis, frankly.
As its hull catches fire, the reactors explode and a blinding light flashes across the jungle. The Zenith's dying breath, as bright as a star. The explosion turns the rest of the station into a rain of burning meteorites. Parts of the core crash into the Gyrides Sea, bringing it to a boil. The rest is scattered over the woods of the Vasma Valley and the Verkana Plateau. The bombardment leaves forest fires, earthquakes, and leveled cities in its wake. Wounds that, given time, might heal, but they will scar the third horizon long after the end of the Last Cyclade.
The Consortium and the Hegemony were right. They were terrorists, weren't they? Look what they did. What a mess they've made. Okay. I wonder how Lucius is. I hope he got off Coriolis.
Zaki, can you make a data gin roll?
I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good for anyone though.
2 successes.
Soka.
2 successes. I think that's Soka. Well, if you remember, Soka and the others were busy evacuating the station from the
That's true. They were trying to do
of Skavara.
Yeah.
Should I push this?
Rats leaving
2 successes is enough just to say that, in fact, I'll give you notice that there is a shockwave coming from the discharge at quite some pace. I'm fuzzy about time, but let's go cinematic at the moment. So
Okay, so we're 4 light minutes away.
Yeah.
If this thing is going
anywhere near the speed of light, which it probably is.
Well, bear in mind that we've been watching this on a news bulletin, which would also have taken that speed of light to get to it.
But Zaki's spotted the shockwave. You need to make a pilot test, Dave.
Brace.
It says here at -2. Given that Zaki got an extra success, I'm going to pass it on to you to make it -1.
Can I quickly turn to the pilot's console away from the Datagin console to help with that as well?
Nah, I think there's one thing at a time. Okay, yeah.
I've got a special swivel chair built in the middle so I can swing between the two.
Okay, so it's at -1, but I gain +1 for Tony. As I see this coming, I'm tearing a talisman from around my neck. And,
yeah, sensible.
One of Paul's talismans. Still doing good.
Yeah. Even though
that's what fueled that enormous explosion you've just witnessed.
Thousands of his bloody talismans. He's probably dead, isn't he? Poor Cade.
Probably not looking that good for him.
Okay, I've got 3 successes.
3 successes is plenty. You ride the wave almost like you're surfing it.
Can we use that to get an extra boost on our way to Jakroom?
For 3 successes, why the fuck not?
I do come from the school of if you don't ask, you don't get. And quite frequently I ask and I don't get, but once in a while.
Right, we've accelerated somewhat to the end of the campaign.
Have you just cut about 50 pages out of the book?
No, it wasn't actually 50 pages. I thought we were going to do potentially a thing on Coriolis today.
You said 16 weeks until the...
I was way off with weeks, actually. I think there was only a couple of weeks in it. Because these 2 acts are really short, actually. Yeah. This last one is have a conversation with the judge. And then you spent weeks on the first act. And then these last 2 acts literally are really... I think there could have been a long combat if he'd been involved with the... with what was happening, but that was all timed to be about 4 or 5 half shifts, half a day. And given you've spent 10 hours communicating with the others, I thought actually let's just bring it on.
Are there people who've managed to escape Coriolis before it crashed into the atmosphere? Are there like lifeboats and escape pods?
There's still plenty of ships docked, wouldn't there be? So people would have.
Sorry?
There would have been plenty of a ship docked Coriolis. Would they have been able to get away?
I'm not sure there was much time for them. No. There was no awareness of what was going on, except for people like Soka, who already have been evacuating for the last year.
The song building up. I'm just wondering if there's any way of finding out if Lucius Decumius from the Crossroads College managed to escape.
I think as you look at the wreckage cascading into the atmosphere, that Lucius and the Crossroads College is dead and gone. I don't think there were many survivors.
No.
Definitely with the tears coming down Judge Kurahan's face. She's thinking of all the people on there that you might have saved had you turned back.
We wouldn't have saved any had we turned back. Because she wasn't asking us to go back to Coriolis to evacuate people. She was asking us to go down to Kua to find her son.
No, she didn't know this was going to happen. She was initially saying go back to Coriolis. Then you told her that her son was on Kua. Then she spoke with him. That comms is down.
Well, I guess if the monolith has kind of exploded as well, almost.
Yeah, I don't know whether you know what happened to Paul or otherwise, to Cade, all the others, but yes, it says here that as you scan back, you see a graveyard of what used to be the Zenithian fleets, and hear desperate emergency hails from survivors trapped on disabled ships.
Should we?
These weren't people escaping from Coriolis. These were people on their way to Coriolis, going about their normal business without expecting it to be done. Or indeed, these Legion soldiers.
I guess we need to help these people.
No, says the judge. You are right, Oshan. You are right to go to Tashum. In the darkness of the Rimwood Reach, far from the foul stench of Kuan politics, Governor Akbar Raki Fatiman has ruled Tashroom for a long time. This will become the center of operations, I think, for Kua as a system. The surviving colonists and stationaries will find refuge here. Let us go and prepare.
Engage.
Yeah.
Are they? Hang on. Get right. How many's going to have to run on that wheel a lot faster from now on? Yes. Okay. Are you content with that, Zaki? That we
have nothing to.
That we don't turn around and try and rescue some Legion soldiers who are stuck in their ships.
I guess everything is lost what I'm seeing. I don't know where we can help many people, but help people on the monolith, help people on Coriolis, everything is doomed.
Let's get the judge back to Jakru now.
A lot of people are going to be dying there. Whatever we could do will be like a tiny drop in the ocean anyway, wouldn't it? So.
And maybe the information that the judge has got can help bring peace to the horizon sooner rather than later.
Do you think the peace will arrive in the third horizon now?
Well, it puts the Order of the Pariah in the driving seat somewhat, doesn't it? Although I guess you've still got this Nadia flotilla. And presumably the Legion has still got their fleet at Mirror. So just because Coriolis and the fleet that was there has been destroyed doesn't mean that, there's not going to be a lot of fighting around Zalos.
So, right, okay. This may have happened a couple of weeks early, but it's happened now. And I think well, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next week. Let me think about that. But to be honest, I'm loving the way this has played out, because it would have been shit wherever you were on Coriolis or whatever, and you did do the right thing. I was trying to persuade you not to do the right thing, but you did the right thing for your survival. But yeah, what we haven't got is book 3. And so,
and any prospect of book 3, have we?
For some time.
We don't know when we're going to get it.
There's half a page of scenario ideas.
Right. Okay.
So, we could. I'm not promising anything for next week.
On next week, next
Mhm.
Monday is my wife's birthday anyway, so I don't think I'll be making next week anyway.
Happy birthday.
Right then, let's blame your wife and say to anybody listening and looking for the next episode that because Tony wants to celebrate his wife's birthday, we're all very glad to take the week off, and we will reconvene in 2 weeks.
And I don't think
We
we'll be
We
reconvening
might
in
need
2
to
weeks.
reconvene 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks,
Because sadly, 2 weeks is sadly our mum's funeral that day.
right?
So-
Okay, let's not blame your mum for that. She wasn't part of that decision-making process. So that gives me plenty of time. Let's confidently say we will reconvene
in 3
in,
weeks.
3 weeks
Yeah.
with one of these scenario ideas worked up into something.
So the 14th or
No,
the 20th?
21st.
No,
it'll be.
21st. So
Okay.
3 weeks.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
What about the tear? Because millions now are dead. Is the tear open?
Well,
Oh, the tear's too far
luckily,
away, surely.
That's, the
That's on the other side of the
completely, isn't
horizon,
it?
but also importantly, that was being sealed by
Havima.
by Havima
Javi-
and a bunch
his
of people
mates.
from the second horizon.
Being sealed by people from the second horizon.
Well, not people from the second horizon, but people Santulan people from basically Cade's sect.
Okay.
So you might consider what that means for the horizon over the coming weeks.
Perfect.
And then we will maybe find out some more about what that means for the horizon. Right. Tell you what, I'm going to read through this list of things, potential adventures.
Can I just say one thing? When we get to Dakarum and I reunite with Isabelita, I want to get my ship slightly refitted.
Cool. Yeah, no problem.
And
So
upgraded
basically, you've
slightly.
got no debt on her now, so you can take
Build
whatever
up fresh
level of
debt.
debt you want
Yeah.
to.
Take out a new
to
mortgage
redo it.
to give it
But-
a read.
Yeah.
Bear in mind the adventure that you may choose out of this list. So I'm going to just read this. I'm going to read out this list. If any of them
Basically,
go, oh, that sounds interesting,
Okay.
shout.
No, I just want to make the ship faster and have some kind of defensive capability.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to turn it into a battleship or anything.
Explore previously flooded cave systems on Kua to find ruins from forgotten civilizations. Dive for salvage amidst the wreckage of Coriolis Station in the dark waters of the Kuan seas. Zenithian exiles will pay handsomely for the recovery of heirlooms and artifacts. Locate the scoured pieces of the net from the Kuan jungle and resist in putting the skeletons of Zenith back together in orbit of the expatriate system of Amido. Visit Zalos or Temple City on Mirror and enjoy the grandeur of these ancient cultures, now once again open to foreigners. We'll tell you about the politics next time. Participate in the war on heresy on Zalos B, or try to mediate in the Nazarene-infested conflict. Join the Samaritan Peace Corps as part of the Salam Flotilla as it journeys across the horizon. Find hidden Legion cells in the darkness of space, or discover abandoned Foundation stations orbiting strange remote moons. Look for clues as to the reason of the Janghagir's fleet disappearance. Work for the Alabaster, Martyr, or Horizon Councils, or for Akbar Rativ Fatiman himself. All are potential new patrons. Try to stop the Nazarene terrorist attacks or assist those affected. Encounter more new mystics and see the growing influence of the Santulans for yourselves. Visit the expatriates on Almedo and work for the Zenithian Hegemony, Well, that last one you probably don't want to do.
No, we just quit from them, so
Yeah.
To be fair, they might have.
Yes, I mean, actually, that you might expect that some of the people that had actually signed your death certificates on that or signed your death warrants may well have then rained themselves down as ashes upon the planet Kura, if that's any consolation.
It is some, yes.
Among all your friends from the planet Kura.
Yeah, that's a bit of a blow, but we can't.
But at least Hami the Capybara comes wandering out of the temple to assure you that he, of all the pets sold in that market when Soccer went to buy him.
To Soccer, yeah, exactly. He's the only one who survived.
Cool. Shall we say goodbye?
So I think of that lot, of that selection, I'm not sure any of them really jumped out, but my thought is that for Ocean, he's going to be wanting to do things that are trying to uncover and help protect the Third Horizon, uncover what's going on. So of those, maybe trying to work out what happened to the Janagahir fleet is possibly what he might find most compelling.
Right. Okay. Tony?
Yes. Or well, that or one of the ones where trying to fight the Nazarene sacrifice. There was a mention of that as well. Yeah. I think Yakub might also at some point want to go to Kura, just because actually that's where I came from, and if basically where I grew up is going to have been somewhat devastated, so I might want to go at some point and maybe help in the relief efforts there or something like that.
Cool. I'll think of something around those ends. Zaki, do you have any particular burning urges?
Yeah, probably also try to assist anyone, maybe stop the Nazarene terrorists, but whatever whatever you lead, I will follow.
Because I've got some. Yeah, I won't say any more. Okay. I'll think of something.
As we're arriving, or on the journey to Dakrum, as we're arriving there, Zaki finds that one of the cabins now has got a sign on it saying Zaki's room. And it's not an airlock, honestly. It's not an airlock.
and not the previous bathroom, the second bathroom.
No.
Not the second bathroom. Okay.
And it is actually a cabin. It is a cabin. It's fine.
Okay.
Proper cabin. Okay. Right. We'll say goodbye to our listeners. Goodbye, listeners. Viewers,
thanks for watching. Bye. If any of you were, I'm not sure we had many today.
No, we maxed out at